Tonight, the divide in the Minnesota House spilling over to the courts. House Democrats, who are boycotting the start of the session, now suing Republicans, saying they're breaking the law and violating the Constitution by organizing and electing a speaker. Secretary of State Steve Simon also filing a legal challenge asking the state Supreme Court to avoid anything Republicans are doing. Republican leaders said they would follow a ruling, but say they're not slowing down until and unless that happens. But as all of this unfolds in the House, on the other side of the Capitol, the Senate is also evenly split, but Democrats and Republicans are agreeing on how to handle the current tie. Jennifer Hoff joins us with a closer look at the cooperation in the other chamber. Jennifer?
Right, a lot of bipartisan work happening there. The power sharing agreement is actually modeled, Julie, after the one the House had been working on for about 2 months. A deal instead now playing out in that evenly divided Senate that includes electing co-presiding officers and co-chairing of committees, and really begs the question, can the House now follow suit?
The unprecedented start to the legislative session reached a new depth of discord playing out in the Minnesota House. From boycotting Democrats to Republicans allegedly unlawfully pressing on without enough members, all while the chamber fights for power and how to share it, despite the GOP having what will likely be a temporary majority until a special election at the end of the month.
Some of the bad feelings from the end of last session have carried over, and so I think you're seeing some of that play out in the House's kind of putting stakes in the ground about how they think this should unfold.
That's kind of like sending your kids into the room and have them work it out.
Political analysts agree the dynamic has changed, perhaps though for the better, in the Senate that's also facing a short-term tie, but agreed to a bipartisan power-sharing plan. The GOP leader calling it his favorite conversation yet with the DFL.
It was done in good faith. Nobody had those gotcha moments. Think less of like a WWE conversation and more like a escape room, and we're just trying to figure out how we work this together to get to the end goal.
There will be co-chairs and co-vice chairs on each of the 20 committees, bringing equal membership from each caucus.
There was a real commitment that we come together to organize and get our work done for the people.
Lawmakers are also required to pass a budget this year. The Senate saying its early cooperation will continue, driven in part by the late Senator Carrie Dietzick, who died last month.
She also talked deeply about courage and Minnesotans and treating each other with respect. All the principles that you would hope that we all as human beings would really endow.
And that election, by the way, to fill Senator Dietzick's seat is now set between Democrat Doran Clark and Republican Abigail Walters for January 28th, and that will change what party gains control there. In the meantime, Governor Walz is expected to present the 2025 budget tomorrow, and we will be there to cover that. At the same time, some caucuses are starting to release, Julie, their top bills and priorities for the year, so those will slowly start to roll out.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer.